Hello, my name is Alara, and I live a life that most people only dream of. I'm a global pop sensation with millions of fans, sold out arenas, and a wardrobe that costs more than a small country. My life is a constant spotlight, which is wonderful, but most of the time. But even a star needs a break sometimes. One evening, after a tiring show, I decided to sneak out with my longtime boyfriend Marcus. He promised me a quiet, romantic evening, away from the paparazzi. Instead, he led me to a private dock where a high-speed boat was waiting. A yacht? Really, Marcus? I told you I just wanted a simple dinner, I complained. Marcus just laughed. Alara, darling, you're a diva. We can't do simple. Now get on board. The party's already started. He was charming, but sometimes his need for extravagance exhausted me. The next day, as I was leaving my penthouse, a menacing piece of mail arrived. It was a picture of me on the front page of a celebrity magazine, but with my eyes crossed out and a terrifying message scrawled across it. Your stage will be your grave. My manager, who also happened to be my concerned older brother, saw it and immediately went into panic mode. This is not a drill, Alara. You need protection, and not just from my security team. I'm hiring the best private protection money can buy. Later that afternoon, a man stood in my living room. He was tall, impeccably dressed, and had an aura of intense focus. Miss Alara, I am Kian. I will be your head of personal security, effective immediately. He looked too young, too serious, and frankly, too handsome to be a bodyguard. You're joking, right? You look like you should be walking a runway, not following me to my boring private school. Kian's expression didn't change. My background and experience speak for themselves, miss. I have been fully vetted by your management. My job is to ensure your survival, not to entertain your skepticism. He was stone-cold professional, and I found it infuriating. My first day of college with Kian was a nightmare of forced formality. Every time a fan approached, he would step in, creating an invisible barrier. Even my boyfriend Marcus was annoyed. This guy's a glorified babysitter, Alara. Why is he breathing down your neck? He tried to pull me into a passionate kiss in the hallway, and instantly, Kian was there, placing a hand firmly between us. Miss Alara's personal space is to be respected, sir. Please step back. Marcus turned red. She's my girlfriend. Who the heck are you? Kian just stared him down until Marcus backed away, muttering curses. I knew Kian was just doing his job, but I hated the constant scrutiny. I decided to make his life miserable so he would quit. I ordered the most complicated custom-made drink from the coffee shop, listing absurd requirements just to see him fail. 5 minutes later, he returned with the exact drink, perfectly made. I took him on a 6-hour shopping spree, forcing him to carry 40 pounds of bags, hoping he'd collapse. He carried them without a single sign of strain. I even tried to secretly ditch him at a bookstore, but when I looked up, he was already standing by the exit, a faint, almost invisible smirk on his face. This man was a machine. However, Kian's robotic exterior began to crack. During a mandatory dull gala, a waiter carrying a tray of champagne bottles slipped near me. Before I could even register the danger, Kian moved with lightning speed, catching the heavy tray in midair with one hand, all without spilling a single drop. It was genuinely impressive. Later, I caught him staring at a worn photograph in his wallet, a picture of a young girl who looked just like him. When I asked, he simply said, "My little sister, Lana. I failed to protect her. I won't fail again." His voice was low and filled with a pain that felt intensely human. The relationship between me and Marcus was deteriorating. He was constantly jealous of Kian and demanded my full attention, treating my career as a side hobby. One afternoon, I saw a text on Marcus's phone. He was making plans with a rival socialite. I confronted him, and he just shrugged. "You're always too busy for me, Alara. Maybe you should date your robot bodyguard instead." I immediately broke up with him. Kian, who was standing guard outside the room, didn't say anything, but I could feel his silent support. A few days later, a major concert was scheduled. Kian tried to cancel it, claiming the recent threats were escalating. "Please, Alara, I have a very bad feeling about this. Your safety is paramount." I refused. I will not let some pathetic threat control my life. My fans are waiting. Your job is to protect me, Kian, not to dictate my career. He finally relented but insisted on constant close proximity. During the concert's grand finale, while the lights were blinding and the music was thundering, I saw it. A figure in a black hoodie in the upper balcony, aiming something that glinted in the light. Panic seized me. Before I could move, Kian was on the stage, tackling me to the ground, shielding me completely from the unseen threat. He dragged me backstage to safety. He was furious, his face etched with pure terror for my life. You are reckless. You almost died out there. His mask of professionalism had completely vanished. He looked only like a man who genuinely cared. The next day, the authorities were investigating. Kian insisted on checking every single detail of my life. He even checked my study materials at college. As I was studying alone in the library, Kian suddenly burst through the door, yelling, "Get down now!" A massive, unsecured lighting fixture above me, clearly tampered with, came crashing down. Kian shoved me clear, and the heavy metal frame hit him square on the shoulder. He was rushed to the hospital. I was devastated and remained by his side. It was in the hospital waiting room that Kian, still bruised and recovering, made the final breakthrough. He had noticed a small, almost undetectable chemical residue on the lighting fixture that matched a substance only found on the gloves of the main stage crew, a crew that Marcus had personally hired for my last 3 shows. Kian brought the police and Marcus in. Marcus confessed immediately. He wasn't the master plotter, but a frustrated accomplice. He had been planning to save me from a harmless threat to look like a hero and win me back. But his scheme escalated and took a dangerous turn when he realized Kian was actually protecting me. He revealed that the mastermind behind the original death threats and the rat-infested package was his new socialite friend, who was obsessed with taking my place. With the threats neutralized and Marcus in custody, Kian was finally safe. He was discharged a few days later. As he stood in my living room preparing to leave, I couldn't bear it. "Kian, you can't leave. You saved my life. You're my hero." He looked at me, his eyes softer than I had ever seen them. "My contract is terminated, Alara. I cannot be your bodyguard anymore. I can't look at you as just a client." I walked toward him, taking his hands. "Then don't. Fire yourself as my bodyguard, and I'll hire you as my boyfriend." A genuine, warm smile finally broke through his reserved facade. He didn't say a word. He just gently pulled me closer and kissed me. It was the end of my life with the shadow, and the beginning of my life with the man who became my light.